always answer an objection with a question. Well, I think your price is too high. Really? Why do you think that? Logical question, right? Not, oh, okay, let me fix the price. Oh, I can negotiate. No, why do you think that? Maybe by the time they're done talking about it, they don't really think that. With every objection they throw out, know the question you're going to ask to get them to go back inside their head and think about it.
The lion is the king of the jungle, not because it is the fastest, strongest, or smartest animal out there. It's the king of the jungle because of its mentality. If you want to be good at sales, you need a lion's mentality. And if you're uncomfortable with that, develop a sales process. To talk about all these pieces and how to rock sales as an MSP, I am thrilled to have as my guest, Matt Koenig. Matt is VP of Channel at NodeWare and has been a force in the channel for over 20 years. He has been deeply involved in helping MSPs with developing client relationships and sales. If you don't know him already, you should. Reach out to him at Matthew Koenig at whitetigerchannelconsulting.com. That's Koenig. Let's get started. But first, let's get some housekeeping out of the way. My name is Madhur Dugar. I am a senior M&A advisor at Excendio Advisors, focused around MSPs and IT services. And this is my podcast series, M&A Insights. If you are interested in finding out more about how we are helping MSPs exit or grow inorganically, write to me at madhur@excendio.com, connect with me over LinkedIn, or visit our website, www.excendio.com. Let's get started. I want to start with just the big question. When you boil it all down, in your opinion, why is sales so hard for an MSP founder?
Mentality. They're scared. They don't like it. Customers know that. They know that. So there's something that I love called the lion mentality. And the lion mentality basically is this video I show in the presentation. By the way, if you'd ever like a copy of this presentation, just reach out. Happy to send it to you. And basically what it says is the lion isn't the biggest in the jungle. The lion isn't the fastest in the jungle, right? The lion isn't necessarily the smartest in the jungle. So how can the lion be the king of the jungle? Mentality. Lion knows what they want to do. Lion is focused on what they want to accomplish. Lion is going to accomplish that. I love the lion mentality because as a salesperson or a business owner, you have to have the lion mentality. I am going out there today. I know I'm prepared. I know I'm doing it the right way for both me and the customer, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to win this. Not, oh my God, I'm scared to talk to my customer. Oh my God, I don't want to ask them for this because they might say no. No, go out and kick some butt.
Go out and kick some butt. Do you think that makes MSPs uncomfortable? What are some things that they can do to get past that discomfort?
Well, I think part of it is what we're going to discuss today. Make a process. Make a repeatable process that works. Because if you're not winging it every time, it's hard to get nervous when you know exactly what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, the order you're going to do it in, and the responses you can expect on a regular basis and how to deal with all of that. What I've always found is when I go and talk, I do a lot of breakouts at shows, main stage presentations on this kind of stuff. I always have to put together a presentation first, not just the one I'm going to show you, but a brain dump of my thoughts. Because if I can do a brain dump of my thoughts, then I will go start writing it out, right? I will outline it. I will write it out. Writing it out commits it to memory. That's just a psychological fact. Once I have that, I'm now ready to go. But what I will tell you is you have to be passionate about it. If you're not passionate about growing your business, if you're not passionate about that you want new customers, guess what? Every time you get in front of them, they can tell. You can feel someone's energy. I know that seems, all Eastern medicine. No, you can feel someone's energy in the room.
100%.
And if you're going to come in and you're not going to be excited and methodical and, show them you know what you're doing, you ain't getting anywhere.
What are some of the essential components of that process, the sales funnel, if you will, from lead to close?
Sure. So, basically a sales process is structured, repeatable series of steps that a sales team or owner would follow. And some of the things that are involved in it are setting the appointment. The next thing you're going to do is a full discovery session. One of the things you need to do in a discovery session is your core group puts together an ideal customer profile, questions that you want answers to that will help you decide if this is a good customer for you or not. Your core group at the company gets together, they create this, you talk about what the answers need to be in order for it to make a good customer. If it makes sense to move forward, then you do a complete assessment. You want to analyze the technical environment, but you also want to analyze the people environment. You want to talk to some employees. You can tell them ahead of time, here's the questions I'm going to ask. What key employees can I talk to? You want to understand what they don't like about their IT infrastructure. Is there something that they think will make them more efficient? Is there something that breaks down regularly that someone doesn't know about? That's information that's important. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to go back to the guy and say, well, marketing says if they have this tool. HR says if they have, no, it's not about that. It's about understanding, though, what they're feeling about IT, what the issues they're running into, because just coming from you or just looking at the technical, it really doesn't have the same impact. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to present the assessment results. When you do this, you're going to present it from a business impact standpoint. You're going to tell them, hey, I found some things that will affect the business in the following ways. Okay. Mm-hmm. And you're going to talk about that from a business impact standpoint. That includes the technical and that includes the people. Next, if the presentation of results goes well, okay, you're then going to set up a meeting to present the proposal. But it's also going to relate specifically back to the assessment things you discussed and the things they thought were important. You're going to show them you understood them, you heard them, and you're going to take care of those. You're then also going to present a project plan. So you're going to take the top 3-5 things, whatever you discussed, that are the most critical things to fix. Again, outside of you taking over their business with $116 a seat, $500 a person, whatever it is. And you're going to put together a project plan that says, okay, we're going to address these in this order that you said were most critical to you and the business impact that they would have. This one will take 2 weeks. This one will take whatever. And based on a starting date of X, here's how soon we can get done with them. You're going to tell them when you finish each project, you want to meet with them. You want to go through the fact that it's done, what the end result turned out to be, and have them initial it. Why would I do that? Because you're getting used to the communication. You're getting them used to meeting with you. So if you decide to have QBRs, they're used to meeting with you at this point. They like meeting with you. They don't see it as a waste of time. Final part, close the deal. You're going to put everything in front of them. You're going to tell them the day you can start. And you're going to say, the contract's been reviewed by legal. We've taken care of everything to make sure that, we all agree on everything. Sign here. Now, whether it's electronic and you send it to them, because you're never going to send that ahead of time. Mm-hmm. Okay? You're going to review the proposal with them. You're never sending it ahead of time. They want you to send it ahead of time. The answer is no. I want to review it with you so I can show you what we need to attack first, second, third, fourth, et cetera, et cetera. If they want to see it first, that means they're not willing to spend any more time with you and there's a problem. So what you're going to do is you're going to say, here it is. Sign here and we can get started. No, shut up. Just sit there. Stare at them if you want. Let them throw out any last minute objections if there are any. Okay. Hopefully you've asked enough questions with the discovery and all the other stuff along the road. There's no question that they're going to sign it. Do not leave without a signed document unless there's a specific reason. Meaning, I need some more time to think about it. okay, well, you said when we first talked that these were the problems you were facing and you wanted them addressed in the following way in this time frame. Has something changed? Okay. Well, yeah, I need to speak to someone else. Well, then that's your fault, because part of the process, one of the questions I tell you to ask is, who else is going to be involved in deciding if we're right for you? Okay. That's a flaw in the sales process. You need to make sure you're getting those questions answered, but always answer an objection with a question. Well, I think your price is too high. Really? Why do you think that? Logical question, right? Not, oh, okay, let me fix the price. Oh, I can negotiate. No, why do you think that? Maybe by the time they're done talking about it, they don't really think that. With every objection they throw out, know the question you're going to ask to get them to go back inside their head and think about it. Last thing, don't ever give them a price until the proposal meeting. What's the point? So they can judge you on price? Is that the only way you want to be judged? Or do you want to be judged on the quality of what you bring, the thoroughness of what you bring, the relationship style that you bring?
One of the challenges that I think MSPs have, we know this, is very often the client doesn't know the services or understand the services that the MSP is saying they're going to provide them, because they're all in this technology language speak, right? So they immediately try to move it to a price point because that's the only thing that they do understand.
Well, what I do is, once again, I'll say, first of all, what do you want to price on? Your services. What services? If they can't explain my services, how can I give them a price? Right? They're comparing me to something a lot of times that's not even a competitor to us. How can I give you a price for something you don't understand? And you nicely ask them, what services are you expecting a price on? Well, yours. Okay, that's fine. Can you just kind of give back to me what we do to make sure? I want to make sure before I give you the price right now, because you're asking for it, you understand exactly what we bring to the table. What's always interesting about that is I find them, when they give me something back and it's incorrect, I can say, okay, hold on. I'll still give you your price, but understand that's not what we. All of a sudden, they forget about the price and we're going down the road, right? I think a lot of MSPs go, oh my God, if I put this process in place, I'm going to lose clients. I'm going to lose prospects. Guess what? The prospects you lose, you're better off losing. Ask your final question, and this can be a by the way after the fact, right? You've asked them, do you have any questions? Do you understand everything we've done? Do you understand what the next steps are? Yes, I do. Great. Before we schedule this next meeting, I have one last question. Do you expect me to be the cheapest option or fairly priced and the best option to take care of your company? Which is your expectation? Set that up in the beginning of their mind.
Yeah.
That you're not going to be the cheapest option. That's not who you are. That's not what you're bringing to the table.
Yeah.
And if you do that, you're setting yourself up more for success by asking that question than not asking that question. Right now, you've set yourself up to have that conversation. You're not fighting over price.
I'm going to just say this in support of what you're saying. As an M&A guy, when MSPs are looking to exit, I work at it from the buy side as well as from the sell side. From the buy side, it is not uncommon for them to look at a set of contracts that the seller has and say, geez, mother, 50% of these contracts we don't even want because they're priced too tight. And if we move them to our pricing grid, we will lose the customer because simply they will just not be able to make the adjustment. So therefore, this MSP has a hard time exiting because 50% of their business, they might have won, but is actually not valuable to the market. I want to talk about proposals. You mentioned you shouldn't send them a proposal as a soft copy, right? You should always sort of maybe you can share it with them on the screen. When you're discussing that proposal on a screen, are you discussing pricing as part of that proposal, or are you doing that only when you meet them in person?
Well, let's say you're bringing on a customer that's remote, right? If everything's done remote, then of course
you gotta do it. Yeah.
But other than that, you're not sending the proposal ahead of time. You're not giving them pricing ahead of time. You're meeting face to face. Face to face, A, you can read body language. 2, it's harder for someone to just say, okay, go away. I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
Or not pay attention. You're going face to face. period. Second thing, you are never presenting to someone that's not the decision maker. They've been involved in this process. They're not going to say, okay, well, my HR person will sit in it. No, we'll reschedule this meeting. It's important for you to be in this meeting. If they're already throwing it off to someone else, then what you're doing is you're presenting to that person who now has to try to take what you've done and present it to the decision maker. And guess what? Now we're presenting price.
Yes, absolutely. Because everything else is going to get lost in translation.
Yep.
A salesperson costs money. To hire a salesperson is going to cost you money. How should a founder think about this challenge?
Well, a founder should think about, basically, have they run out of time? Do they hate sales with a passion so it's not working?
Yeah.
A lot of them get referrals. Are your referrals slowing down? Are you not getting the right kind of customers that you want? Are you finding that sales is something that drives you crazy and bothers you to the point where you hate doing it? Now, you have to be evidently at a certain point to be able to afford a salesperson. So that's where you have to decide, how am I going to block my time? And that's hard to do. That's entrepreneurship, right? I don't do it because I couldn't do it that way. I have mad respect for these people that are doing it. But you're going to have to say, just pull in a number, 4 hours a week is dedicated to sales, period. End of story. It doesn't matter. If you can't do that, well, then you got to grow based off referrals in other ways. But at some point, you have to decide if you want to keep growing. If you want to keep growing, you're going to have to hire a salesperson. I have friends, as we've talked about, MSP owners all over the place. And I love when they've hired a salesperson and 90 days ago, they sucked, I fired them.
Yep.
And then I go, well, did you do this? Well, no. Did you set this up? Well, no. Well, what about this? Well, no. Okay, well, let me say this candidly because you're my friend. No, you suck. No way I'd succeed in that environment. So there are definitely certain things you need to do. And it's not so much that they're expensive, meaning the sales rep might be, is the comp plan set up right? Do you have a proper way of making notes and tracking what's going on? Do they understand the products you sell? Or are they all just mushy all over the place? How do they talk to a customer? Do they bring out a technical resource with them? Or are they supposed to be technical and be able to do that? What does their job description look like? Are you onboarding them? Are you taking them out on calls with you? Because guess what? You have to be part of this. It's a team sport. The other thing I'll say about this topic, because I'm passionate about it, if you want to offer straight commission, stop it. It sounds good to you, okay? Because they only get paid for what they do. I promise you, you are not going to get a good salesperson for commission only. There is not a salesperson out there today that wants to work for commission only unless they sold cars or roofing or stuff like that. And if that's the kind of sales rep you want, rock on with your bad self. Commission only, you get what you pay for.
Yeah,
exactly. And what you're paying for is someone that is now desperate to make sure they do stuff to pay their mortgage, pay their car payment, whatever. So do you really want those kind of sales that they're trying to get in no matter what so they can make money? I don't care what you say, that's going to hurt you more.
Yes.
I would never, ever, ever in my entire sales career work for straight commission. I don't care if someone's straight out of college and brand new. I don't care if I've been doing it for 20 years. It depends on the area, but a normal base salary, I'll say, is an average across the US. But it depends also on the area. This doesn't work for San Francisco and New York City.
Yeah.
$60,000 a year. If you can't afford a starting point of 60, forget it. Keep doing what you're doing, because you're going to get someone that doesn't care about you. They care about making sure they're taking care of their family at any cost. So you're going to get stuff that you're going to end up having to back out of, return, refix, stuff that doesn't meet your standards. You're going to get all kinds of crap. And guess what? You can't teach them because they're saying, you're not paying me.
Yeah. And by the way, for those founders who are listening to this saying, well, I don't have a sales expense because I don't have a salesperson, I want to say you do have a sales expense. It's you. and the time that you're spending doing the sales, if you're spending 50% of your time doing the sales and you're drawing, I don't know, 200 grand from your year, you should think about 100 grand going towards sales. And what you should ask yourself is, if I had spent that 100 grand on an actual salesperson, a professional salesperson, would I have gotten a better return on that investment or not? And you know what? For some MSPs, the right answer might be, I don't need to do this. I might want to exit into an MSP that does know how to do this well and grow along with them and grow my stock along with them. That might be the right decision.
Yeah. Or it's a lifestyle business and they don't care.
They don't care.
There ain't nothing wrong with that. You have a lifestyle business. I'm just billing a number. You're doing $2.5 million a year and you're able to pull out of it what you want to make, so you can buy the car you want, the boat you want, and everything. There's nothing wrong with that. More power to you. I wish I was in your place.
What are some real life examples that you can share with us where, an MSP that was not doing it particularly well was able to revamp its sales process and as a result of that saw a meaningful impact?
Well, the company I was talking about that I went and talked to is a great example. We went in, we first analyzed their pricing, okay? Make sure what each customer was actually bringing to the table. Because if somebody's making, even if they're small, but you're getting 60% profit, you don't need to screw with that right now.
Yep.
You may want to later on because you may want to get 70 or 80, but don't screw with that. The next thing we looked at is what services they provide, right? What are they providing and what's key to the market to be able to provide? Then we decided what the price increase should look like, how to deliver it. Before we did anything, next thing we did is we checked their back end. Could they onboard new customers that they brought them? Because that's a big problem when it comes to sales. They couldn't onboard 4 new customers if they got them in the next month or 2, if their life depended on it, because that's not what they're used to. So you also have to make sure the company can handle the growth before you do the growth. Then what we did is we made an appointment with every single one of these customers. And we talked to them face to face about what was going on, why the price increase, what they can expect with the extra money they'll now be paying, which is, some additional services. One got upset. Out of 25, 1 got upset. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And they weren't huge. We took their biggest client and we stripped away down to the things that were most profitable. Because there were arguments, when I dug in, there were arguments about some projects and stuff like that, whatever. Pricing on this and price. So we looked at it and said, based on what you do for them, what's the most profitable stuff?
Yeah.
This, and this. Great. That's what we're going to do for them. We're going to introduce them to someone else, not necessarily an MSP, that can do their project work.
Yeah.
And that way, what you're doing with them is profitable. They're no longer 42% of your business. And, if they want you to do a project here and there because they want you to do it, fantastic.
Yeah.
You do it at 60% and make good money and have a nice day. Now, let's go out and find some new customers with the sales process. And once we put all of that in place and started using a sales process, wow, what a difference. We brought on 6 new customers in the first 6 months. And they were nice customers, decent customers, profitable customers. So they were very excited. They've now grown enough. They have a CFO on board. They've got a couple salespeople on board. And I'm not saying it's all me. I'm saying, but they made the changes that needed to be made in order to accomplish that.
How well do you think are MSPs upselling to existing customers? What are some things that can help them do a better job with that?
Well, first of all, most of the MSPs I talk to are scared to death of their customers. And I say this with love, but they're scared to death. One, because they don't meet with their customers regularly. So getting an appointment's even hard, which blows me away because why would you do that? But second of all, oh my God, we can't talk about a price increase. They might leave us. Have you asked them whether they had a price increase in the last 3 years?
Right.
I bet you $1 million they've increased their prices in the last 3 years. What you need to do is have a conversation about business, about their business. where you see possible holes based on the new discovery that you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can do a discovery without telling them it's a discovery, asking questions you've never asked before. You can come back and let them know you've added new tools that will have the following effect on their business. And therefore, that's a reason your price, could be going up.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing, which is near and dear to my heart, is a conversation that says, look, as things have gotten worse in the environment in the world right now, I've realized I've had to upgrade, change out, and add some tools to make sure that I can keep you secure. In order to do that, though, my expenses have gone up. Therefore, I need to increase my expenses, but I will be exponentially better prepared to protect your people, your profits, and your brand from bad actors that are out there and getting into your organization. People are doing what's called spread attacks, Mr. Customer. Spread attack, explain it simply to them. Look, we're in a 20,000 square foot ballroom. I take a hole saw this big. I'm just going to make holes all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm going to cover 50% of them. Those are the people that have security in place.
Yeah.
I'm going to drop, 500,000 marbles down a 20-foot ramp. That's the whole wall of the, ballroom. Are you willing to take the chance that a marble doesn't fall in yours? Because that's what's happening. They're not necessarily targeting you directly. Nobody's attacking you purposely because you're too small. But guess what? If they can do that and they can hit 10 of you a night and steal all your data and credit cards, it spends the same way as if they try to attack Target. So stop being scared of the clients, have legitimate conversations from a business impact, and also be willing to walk away from someone that's not willing to do the right things because you're going to end up sued. And if you end up sued, I'm not saying every time you're going to be found liable. Okay. But I will tell you, there's a law in the federal books called willful ignorance. And basically what that says, it's reasonable to assume that based on what you do for a customer, that you should be doing X and you're not, then you're willfully ignorant.
Yeah.
Which means you're not taking care of the customer. There are also some states that basically says if a customer is not compliant and an MSP is working with them, basically the MSP can get fined as well as the SMB for not doing what they need to do.
If there's one piece of advice you want to give to a founder as they think about their sales and how to make it better, what would that be?
Actually, there are a couple of things. Lion mentality.
Yeah.
You can do this. You can do this. You just have to want to do it. Second thing, put a process in place. It's much easier when you put a process in place that you can follow, you don't have to think about, and have worked because you've adjusted it over time. It makes it a lot less scary because you've done it a million times. And the final thing is talk business, not technology.
Matt, I love doing this podcast with you because A, it creates the podcast, B, it gives me a free tutorial on how to become a better salesperson. That's awesome.
I love it. I love sharing the information with everybody. It really gets me jazzed when I know I can help people reach their goals, accomplish their dreams, because you know what? I've done it for so long. It's time to share.